from Detroit, Michigan, USA. And now from the In My House Techno Music Show archives. And now it's time for some techno and house music history 101, or as we call it, For Those Who Know, by Stevie Anderson, show historian from the UK, for the In My House Techno Music Show Incorporated.
Hey everyone, it's Stevie Anderson from the UK, presenting For Those Who Know, featuring the Martian from Detroit, courtesy of T. Carlita's In My House Techno Music Show Incorporated. From the moment the electrifying mojo landed in Detroit in his mothership, he captivated the imagination of audiences with his unique radio transmissions. A few of that audience were inspired to become pioneers of a new dance music style called techno, and having conquered the dance floor, techno's pioneers wanted to take the sound beyond the dance and conquer deep space. Some of these included Cosmic Cars by Cybertron, No UFOs by Model 500, Galaxy by BFC, The Worlds by Suburban Night, to name a few. And then along came the Martian from Detroit, whose Red Planet label is exclusively dedicated to a world beyond our own. The identity of the Martian has been shrouded in mystery and a closely guarded secret for quite some time. Initially, the techno community assumed Mike Banks of Underground Resistance as being the Martian, but he has always denied the assertion. The Red Planet compilation album released in 1999 credits Will Thomas as the Martian, yet it has been suggested he is an alter ego of Mike Banks. It's not that important who the Martian really is. It's more important that the music the Martian produces should speak for itself, as it so wonderfully does. The Martian launched his debut EP on the Red Planet label in 1992, without any fanfare and sparse information on the record beside the 3 track titles etched into the run-out grooves. The ethos of the Martian is featured on the track Lost Transmission from Earth, with a sample of former Black Panther Eldridge Cleaver quoting Huey Newton's words, "The spirit of the people is greater than man's technology." In other words, more artistic intelligence and less artificial intelligence is at the forefront of the Martian's techno sound, as he juxtaposes planetary themes with indigenous American and African American spirituality. From 1993 to 1999 came a sequence of some of the most exhilarating techno music ever heard, beginning with the Martian's classic follow-up 2-track EP, Cosmic Movement and Star Dancer. The Martian reached out to some of Detroit's greatest techno pioneers to assist on subsequent releases. The list of names reads like a who's who of techno royalty. Eddie Fowlkes mixed Sex in Zero Gravity on Red Planet 3. Model 500 co-produced Search Your Feelings on Red Planet 4. Drexciya provided programming on War Dance on Red Planet 5. Suburban Night supplied additional production on Windwalker on Red Planet 6. Octave One mixed and edited Firekeeper and Vortexual Conceptions on Red Planet 7. And Gerald Mitchell produced Prayer Stick on Red Planet 9. The Martian regained total control on the release of Red Planet 8, a 2-track EP featuring the gritty funk on Particle Shower, and the exquisite The Voice of Grandmother, which is a rising joy of rapture and a reminder of the Martian's mastery of creating atmosphere on wax. He also contributed mixes for the Underground Resistance label, on the track Deep Space Nine by Galaxy to Galaxy and Acid Africa by Underground Resistance. In the 2000s, the Martian has continued to play a decisive role in the evolution of techno music. Further releases saw more collaborations. Gerald Mitchell returned on Red Planet 13, which also featured Santiago Salazar and Jofa Smith, and Galaxy to Galaxy performed on Red Planet 14. Perhaps the most pleasing aspect of the Martian's music is that he reminds us that technology alone cannot produce uplifting music, that it still requires and always will be the input of the heart and soul of man. That's it from me until next time. My deepest thanks to T. Carlita and to all of you who support the show. May peace and blessings be with you in the spirit of 313.
are In My House, hosted by T. Carlito, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
In My House Radio, online 24/7. Featuring only the best techno and house music. And be sure to tune in for Sunday Inspiration, every Sunday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get connected, www.inmyhouse65.com.
This portion of the In My House Techno Music Show is brought to you by Miko Events and Designs, specializing in events of all occasions and floral designs for your many needs, weddings, funerals, birthdays. Let Miko design and let your room come to life through Miko's Events and Designs. That's Miko Events and Designs. Find her on Facebook, follow her on Instagram. To get in touch with Miko, she can be reached 586-222-9752. That's 586-222-9752. Or email mikoeventsdesigns@yahoo.com. Miko Events Designs. Thank you so much for being a proud supporter of the In My House Techno Music Show. All right, we are back, and I am excited to have, this is your cue card.
TeknoBrat.
TeknoBrat. Tu es TeknoBrat.
C'est bien ça, oui.
Oui, ça va?
Très très bien, et vous?
Oh, ça va bien.
Un plaisir d'être ici ce
Oui,
soir.
oui, oui.
Très grand honneur.
Tu as préféré musique de techno, house?
Tout ce qui est relié à au monde de la discothèque, techno, house, underground hip-hop, funk des années 80, italo disco.
Oui.
Ça vient du même monde. Okay. Tout le monde sait que c'est tous des différents styles de disco.
Oui. D'accord. J'étudie le français un peu, moi. Un, deux. Little bit.
Vous vous débrouillez bien?
Yeah. Okay. I do my best. Let me try one more. Combien de. Toi?
Oui.
DJ, producer, combien de 8, 2, 15, 17 ans, 20 ans?
29 ans.
Oh, 29! Wow, 29! Est-ce que vous êtes favorite artiste à Détroit?
Ah, Détroit, mais je dois dire que Underground Resistance, tout ce qui est relié à Underground Resistance, c'est très important pour moi parce que c'était vraiment leur mouvement très militant pour promouvoir leur musique. Oui. C'est très incroyable. Ou genre Mike Banks, c'est non négociable avec lui.
Voilà. So, en anglais maintenant, that section right there, that piece, I just wanted to let my Professor Madame Magnon, merci beaucoup for the French class. See, I did it in person.
I want to thank you. It's a great honor for you to use the language of Molière. I'm very touched.
Did you okay? I did good?
Yes.
Okay. I always get nervous about that. So I just stay, but you know what
it's great to see an American person making an effort in another language.
Yeah, especially yes. In English and not in
Yes.
En anglais. Who is TeknoBrat?
TeknoBrat.
You just said it all in French, so now you gotta say it in English for the people that don't know what the hell you just said.
Are you trying to say how did it happen, or who is he?
Who is he? Where did he come from? You know, where did TeknoBrat come from, and what inspired you to become TeknoBrat?
The thing is, I started DJing in 1987.
Okay.
And before DJing, my interest of DJing, even I didn't know that I was going to be a DJ.
I got you.
in 1983 I was buying records
Okay.
for the first time, and I was not even TeknoBrat at the time. In my head my name is Thomas,
Right.
why don't I have a name like DJ TNT, something explosive?
And you got a really cool last name too.
Stepien, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a Polish name. I'm a quarter Polish.
Okay.
And
Alright.
3/4 Alsatian, which is a kind of a Germanized area in northeastern France.
I
Yeah.
got you. All right.
Yeah.
So TeknoBrat, you weren't TeknoBrat. Now let's do this. You said you bought records. So I have two questions.
Yes.
Deux questions.
Yeah.
Oh, back to English. I might slip in and out, okay?
It's okay.
Just because
No
I'm
problem.
sitting here with a French guy, I'm supposed to do that. So a few French words may fly out
Yeah.
of my mouth, and not the French words that we are probably use on occasion. So techno, vinyl. You said you bought records. Do you remember what your first record was?
Yeah, it was a 12-inch in Baltimore at Tower Records. I used to travel a lot with
Okay.
my dad's business.
Okay.
We went to the States a lot, and we
Okay.
went to a Tower Records in Baltimore,
And what was it?
and I found a 12-inch of Rock the Bells by LL Cool J
That's
on
cool.
Def Jam Recordings.
Nice,
And
nice.
that was, I would say, this was the first 12-inch vinyl
That you bought?
that I purchased.
Okay.
And it's funny, I wasn't a DJ yet.
Okay.
My first DJ gig, paid, an official DJ gig, was in 1987. But I was still DJing even though I wasn't a DJ, because like at the school dances, I would collect 12 inches. I would get 12 inches of everything, even the pop stuff like the Duran Duran, Level 42, Eurythmics.
Oh.
I always get the extended versions of things because I was fascinated on how they would add things compared to the radio versions.
Yeah, that's true.
And it would sound more experimental than that.
That's true.
So that's basically what happened. Is I started into golden age hip hop.
Okay.
It's crazy. I started collecting that, and then I started getting interested in becoming more of a DJ. And to do that, basically, the way I had no one teaching me how to become a DJ. There used to be a show that I would record when we would go with my father to trips to New York, called DJ Red Alert Goes Berserk on 98.7 Kiss FM
Okay.
in New York. And I had this stereo Walkman where I would tape the whole shows, and then the next day I would go to Downtown Records in New York.
And find the
I
records.
said, I want this, I want that, and then,
So
that's how
you
it
know
started.
what though? It's funny that you said that, because me not being a DJ, and I, when you go to the club, and I talk about this off and on through the show, when you're out partying and you're out dancing and you're grooving to something, and you go to the record shop and you don't know the names of the songs, or you go find the songs and you go buy the songs, and then you take them home and you play them and they sound nothing like the way the DJ did it. And they used to fascinate me. It was like, why is it the records never sound right, or to sound the same as you heard it in the nightclub? And then I figured it out, or learned later, that's because they mix it with something else. And I really was fascinated when the DJ term would ride the records, that kind of thing, or a pitch this, a pitch up here, a pitch down there. And that's why the records, when you go to buy, especially back then, a lot of the 12-inch vinyls ran on 45.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially the hip hop disco.
For
era.
sound quality too.
Is
yeah.
that what the okay.
The 45 is, I think, 9 minutes per side, and 33.3 is up to 18 minutes.
18 minutes. Like One Nation Under a Groove.
Exactly.
Don't get caught on the dance floor with that boy. Come on, boy. And if you do get caught on the dance floor, you better hope it's somebody you really like, because you about to be on there for like 29 minutes. One Nation Under a Groove used to be, you be tired, sweating your butt off. But that was a lot of fun. So let me ask you this other part, since we're talking about vinyl. So I know you've been keeping up with the show a little bit, and I did the segment Confessions of a Vinyl Junkie. And it was a little complicated. So I said, forget it. I'm not going to ask the DJs or the producers anymore to send me anything. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put every DJ, or every DJ especially, on the spot. So I want to know your Confessions of a Vinyl Junkie, your 3 records that you just can't be without, ever. 3 off the top, no thinking.
Einzelganger, produced by Giorgio Moroder in 1974 on Oasis Records.
Okay.
That's a very, very rare and experimental record by Giorgio Moroder.
Okay.
To some degree, when I listen to it, it almost sounds like Plastic Man, but 20 years before Plastic Man.
Okay.
Of course, Disco Club by Parisian space disco electronic disco producer Bernard Frèvre, aka Black Devil.
Okay.
Disco Club, that's very rare. It's been reissued.
Okay.
It's been sampled by people like the Chemical Brothers and Aphex Twin.
Okay.
And another record that is very, very, very important to me is the German version of Computer World by Kraftwerk called Computerwelt.
Okay.
This is a very tough choice because I would have liked to include a Detroit record in there, but those records.
Okay, pick four. Pick four.
Well,
pick four.
Then of course it is what it is by Rhythm is Rhythm.
All right.
That's our Detroit record. But you have to understand that Detroit techno was accidentally created by people like Juan, Kevin, and Derek, and even. I can mention other people, like the number of names. They were trying to produce electronic space disco and electronic disco by what they heard on Electrifying Mojo's show.
Oh yeah.
He would play those.
Yep.
And something went terribly wrong. It didn't sound like the records from Europe. It created this new sound called Detroit Techno. So that you have to understand that the three records that I just mentioned, like stuff by Giorgio Moroder, Black Devil, and Kraftwerk, if those records wouldn't have existed, I don't even think that Detroit Techno would have existed.
That's true though, because it's like music from the 70s, it was something about, the disco, the post this and the pre that and the funk and stuff. It really was like the greatest foundation to the music that we kind of talk about all the time. And if it wasn't for Motown and if it wasn't for those different kind of disco vibes and those rare tracks that you mentioned, or a lot of the stuff we hear probably would not exist either, because you got to have something has to inspire you to make what you make, like what it inspired. I know there's a lot of records that inspire you. You sent me a mix, I think about a couple of months ago, and we played it on the show, and you said that these are your 11.
That's correct, yeah.
And you
Essential Techno House Records.
The Essential Techno and House Records. And what is it about that 11 essentials? Why did you pick those, and what's so essential about them to you?
Their records just moved me, and the production was so different than everything else you could hear. They were the originals. Like, it's one of those records with that sound.
I got you. Okay.
They're records that changed the history of the genres at the time, And actually, it's funny because one of those records that was my 11th favorite techno house records was not even a house or techno record. It was the Patrick Colley Mega Mix If I Feel Love by Donna Summer. That's technically electronic disco.
Yeah.
But when I listen to that record, people can say, no, this is a disco record, but I disagree. I know it's techno. It's techno before techno.
Before Juan gave it the name.
Yes.
Right? You are a true perfectionist, and I could tell because when we connected on Facebook and I said, hey, send me something, you went like full blown production on it. So when you go in the studio and you're getting ready to do a track, like how much of what you do probably, as we call in the film world, like hits the cutting floor, and what doesn't wake it, what comes in the trash and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Do you kind of like go through like that conversation with the man in the mirror with yourself?
In the beginning, no. In the beginning, when I was in my infancy, I was very immature and I just did things like this,
Okay.
And then I realized maybe that's why, like I'm not as successful as I should be.
Okay.
With time, I noticed that there is a whole processes of things that are more important than the actual production.
Yeah.
You know, there's the leveling of like to try to make every instrument in multi-track recording unite itself and sound like one and not one sound louder than the other. And more difficult than actual production is mastering. To make a, mastering is extremely difficult. I'm not a master myself. I hire a third party to, and I think it's important for me to do this because the thing is, when I'm very emotionally attached when I make a production to certain sounds, and when you're very emotionally attached to certain sounds, they can be a bit of bias.
Okay.
And what the engineer does in the mastering process, he's kind of like a devil's advocate.
Right. So basically, you do your part, and then you pass it off, and let them do it.
Yeah, he'll make sure that there's not something that kind of is unbalanced compared to, you know what I mean?
And it might be something like you said that's so near and dear to your heart. It's like, no, don't take that part out. No, don't do that.
And that's when I realized the importance of this. That's when the success started coming. That's when the records were starting to sell. Like one of the biggest records I've done was in 2004. It was called Breaks of Death. It was on the Ascend label. It was a Montreal label. Okay. And I had Matteo Murphy do the mastering for me. He's quite a successful techno producer from Montreal. And because of that, like it was nuts. We sold so many copies, and I was getting pictures of my record being sold in Japan, and a little bit of the same kind of feedback Detroit records usually have. Like, it's crazy how you'd be surprised of how many people in Japan are actually, it's like, it's like pop music for them.
It's mind-blowing. It's so mind-blowing. It's so mind-blowing what this culture, and I was about to say culture, this musique, culture, it's just amazing. Like, in your little rooms and in your little basements and in your little corridors where you create this sound, and when it just explodes out to the world, it's like, it's amazing. It's just amazing what you guys do. And to do it at the level that you do it is phenomenal. Like I said, I knew you were a perfectionist to the whole hype of everything. I mean, your audio track was like pitch perfect. And you have the radio voice too.
I've done radio.
Yeah. I know.
I still do radio.
You do? Oh yeah, of course you do. You have your thing on.
My radio. My first radio experience was in 1991. Okay. On a station called CKCU 93.1 FM.
Okay. Where's that over?
That's in Ottawa, Canada.
Okay.
It's the nation's capital of Canada, for people who don't know.
Okay.
And that show came basically out of my mentor, Elorius Kane, who runs, still to this day, one of the longest running disco shows in Canada called The Groove, that's been on the air since 1979. Okay. He's my mentor. He's the one who pushed me. He said that the day he met me, because my father is a jazz man, and he does a jazz show there, and he used to go there sometimes to pre-tape his shows, and he took me to the station. That was like in 1984. That was like almost, oh my God, 7 years before I had my own show. And I met Elorius, and apparently my mentor, Elorius Kane, he said that when he saw my passion and the questions I was asking about the music that he was playing at the time, he instantly knew there was something special in me, a gift that I didn't even know I had. Wow. And well, that led on for me to get my first radio show that was called Planet Rave. From 1991 to 1997, it was on the airs from midnight to 2 a.m. every Saturday night. And that show actually connected me a lot with the world of Detroit, because I was going, every summer going to my family in Europe and going to record stores in England or Germany, and I would see these records with phone numbers from Detroit. And there was this, I remember this record I picked up, it was called Division. it's by UR.
Okay.
But it was licensed on Rising High at the time, and it was this number, and I called Mike Banks, not even knowing who it was.
Oh, I remember the phone number used to be on the records. That's
yeah,
so cool.
and I was like, I really like this. I'm going crazy. I really want to play this, and that's how my relationship with Detroit happened.
Okay.
And I have a really funny story. This is what connected me to the world
All right,
of Detroit.
good. That's what we want to know.
I'm 19 years old. It's 1992. There was the 125th anniversary of Canada, which was kind of cool because they had an airline back then called Canadian Airlines, which merged with Air Canada.
Okay.
Anyways, they had a special promotion where you could travel anywhere within Canada for $125.
Oh, wow.
I had something like $180 in my pocket Canadian.
Okay.
And me and a friend who helped me with the show, he says, okay, we're going to Windsor. Why Windsor? We didn't really care about Windsor. We wanted to come to Detroit.
Okay.
So we took that flight to Windsor, and then we hitchhiked from the airport to the tunnel, took the tunnel bus. Then after that, like hitchhiked on Gratiot Avenue, and then I was banging on 1486 Gratiot Avenue. That used to be the headquarters of KMS Records.
Yeah.
And I banged on the cage door for 1 hour, and then this guy opened the door. Who the hell are you? And it happened to be Chez Danier, and then he said, "Oh yeah, we're the guys who we send you records to." And that weekend was really magical because I got to meet Kevin, and we went to this Wake Up Detroit party, which was in the Warehouse District. It had Juan Atkins, Kevin Saunderson, Derek May.
So much fun.
And we, we didn't have a place to sleep. I spent $125 on a plane ticket, and then I only have like about $50 to survive on, and then I end up sleeping on Derek May's couch. And then there was this rumor going on. The rumors go really fast in Detroit. There was this rumor that this Canadian radio DJ was staying at Derek's place.
And that was you?
and the next few days, Carl Craig shows up with a bunch of records. I never meet him before he was very successful. Like
you were famous.
It was like
$50 in your pocket.
I came home with 100 records that weekend, and everybody took care of me here, and that hospitality. That's when the real love affair with Detroit started.
That is so
and it just it's in my blood.
That's awesome. Well, it's cool. It's like Detroit. We are real people. It's like we can be a little grungy when we need to be. We don't take no crap off of nobody.
Well, you've been through so much.
It's still going.
And it's this is all the problems in Detroit are just political mismanagement.
Exactly.
I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, that's a different show down the street. Exactement. Et politique. No. Anywho. But no, I really do appreciate you. And if anybody wants to reach you, the best way is through your website. Yeah. We'll be sure to I'll put a little thing up on.
Yeah, and I just want to mention there was other shows. There was the Technosphere show in CHUO. Then I did a New Planet Rave show recently, and now I'm doing a show which is it's my show contribution. My contribution to a collective called the Full Mardi Collective. Okay. It's a electronic music collective, and I do 1, 2, 3 shows per month for them. Wow. It's called the Faux Show.
Not Faux Show.
On CHO FM.
Now for your shows, les langues est anglais ou français ou.
Pour le Faux Show, since it's a collective based in Gatineau, Quebec, they are francophones, so I do. Do the commentaries in French. Okay. But the IDs are bilingual.
Oh, awesome.
Canada being a very bilingual country, and since the show is broadcast in Ottawa, I think it's fair for our Anglophone listeners to know what they're listening to. Okay, good. But the actual introductions are in French. And the extras in French. Awesome. I've been doing. I think it's just. Being raised French and learning English when I was 5, it's very automatic for me to go to English to French. So I don't mind. You did good today. I
actually did good too. I'm going to be French before you know it.
You should come to France for maybe 6 months, and then you'll be good.
I know, because last year I went to Bordeaux.
Bordeaux,
in the summer,
the southwest.
And I didn't do so good. It was fun. It's different because when you learn it in l'école, is Everything is formal. Formal this, formal this, formal this. You have to say il y a this. You have to say qu'est-ce que c'est this. And
People
you
correct you a lot in France.
Exactly. Quand est-ce que tu es parlé, blah, 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 right? Voila. That's one word I know. Very well. Voila. And then when you get into the real setting, it's not so formal. It's like they just, everybody has their own slangs. And we were talking about this in class. And I talked, off camera a little bit, how it depends on if you're in the center of France and you're this way and that way, different parts of different regions.
Different dialects and cultures.
Different languages, different cultures, different dialects. And it's the same in Canada, right?
That is correct, yeah.
Yeah, because there's like in Montreal, they are very Canadian, like really, really Canadian. Then there's other Canadians that are more westernized. And it was one area she had mentioned where they don't speak nothing but French. It's like no English there at all.
Quebec City.
Quebec City, yes. So it's like different even there. So it's like here, it's like American. You go down south, they have a different
Yeah,
tone.
exactly.
So it's no different. It's just funny when you're not in tune with foreign language. You just think it's so foreign because it's foreign. But then to foreign, we're foreign. So it's like, okay.
It's
and
funny,
I'll say, you guys talk
Detroit
fast.
was French before.
Oh yeah, well I mean, Detroit. Come on.
It started as a part of New France.
Yeah.
But since
It's the Detroit.
since the French army didn't do too well in the Plains of Abraham, they lost a big piece of land to the English.
So be it. In Spanish, que sera, sera.
The English were smart to fight for Detroit.
Exactement. Yeah. Well, merci beaucoup.
Je vous en prie.
It's been wonderful, très bien, expérience. Je parle un peu français.
C'est bien. C'est bien.
I'm so happy.
Bienvenue à la famille.
Oui. Definitely.
So they can go on my website.
Please,
and there
yes.
you can listen to my radio shows.
Yes,
and
I will definitely put links on.
And I'll send you some more of my personal productions.
Merci beaucoup. And I shall play them throughout. You tell me what we can play and what I can't play. And
with pleasure.
Play it. And when you got new stuff, let me know, because I do this new music segment on a show now. So I want to be able to do that, because one thing is, the show is, it's not very many shows like the kind of show that I have. So it gives a nice platform, and I like to do different kinds of music from different people. It's not like all one house style, one techno style, one style. I want to be open to everybody and their creative talents, because hey, you guys deserve to be heard, and the more more people hear you, the better. So
we appreciate shows like yours.
Yay.
They're a good platform to the truth of real underground techno house.
Yep. Not script.
Not the hype, the real deal.
Oh, yes. Underground. That's what we said. Keep it underground. All right, so this is T. Carlita. Thank you so much. Thank you, TeknoBrat,
Merci, thank
for both francophone and anglais. That's perfecto. Parfait, as we say. In parfait. Is that how I say that?
Parfait. Parfait.
Oh, it was funny. When I found out what parfait was like perfect, I'm like, you mean that old crappy thing at McDonald's they call the parfait? There is nothing parfait about that, but okay. The little ice cream thing they call it parfait? I had no clue growing up that meant perfect. I'm like, oh, long way from parfait, but okay. And I've had French ice cream. It is no way near
No, it's a bit more like sherbet.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, let's get out of here. Let's listen into... Actually, I think I'll go back to the mix that you sent me. I think there's enough time left in the show. Because now that he explained the 11 and you got a chance to hear from him, and we played it in the past, and you guys had no clue who TeknoBrat was, because I didn't at the time. So now we know who he is, and I hope you enjoy his music. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
My pleasure.
You are In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
inside my soul.
They make me lose control. Goes on and on.
Just clap it to the beat.
Just Jesse makes us leave. Goes on and on.
Just say that it's the groove.
Just say he makes you move. Goes on and on.
Just dance until the beat is gone.
Just say you must go on and on. Goes on and on.
House Nation.
House Nation.
House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation. House Nation.